last we left off, you guys gave Yoko Ono the beatdown, killed two of her generals, and also all your friends in the Grove killed her little invading force. She is currently in the mouth of a giant toad.
Oh, that's right.
I think you guys can narrate from here what kind of like what you. I'll chip in when you guys like need me to say things, but like this is like she is like in your hands at this point.
I mean, to be real, like, I don't think Hell has any idea who this person is.
I mean, Alex has no.
Alex might, but
Oh?
not like. I mean, like, in the extent of like, Yoko Ono is like the Grand Master of, the Templar Grand Master of Tira. So that's like,
Yeah, but also everyone just stopped Alex from killing her, so I don't think
yeah,
Alex
that's fair.
is too keen.
I think Jalen would probably know the best of her because I think she would be like almost like not like a household name, but everyone knows who she is because like kind of everyone has heard the names of all the masters.
Okay.
All right. So, just for reminders, was the giant toad one of our party, or was that a summoned thing?
Yeah, the giant toad.
I think it came from Amanda's bag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Well, I guess assuming that Yoko Ono is still alive, I'll ask the toad to. So I'll say to the toad, "Can you let out Yoko Ono, please? We'd like to have a couple words."
the toad like just relaxes its jaw and Yoko Ono just like kind of slides out covered in slime.
Perfect. Is she appearing to be conscious?
Yeah, she's conscious.
All right. So Yoko Ono, seems that perhaps your reputation seemed to indicate that you're a lot more proficient than you actually are.
No, this is just a unfortunate situation. I've lost. It is what it is. Do with me what you will.
Well, I think exactly what we do with you depends on what your plans are now.
What plans?
Well,
I don't know how long you've been in here, but on the outside, things are falling apart. This was a last-ditch attempt to regain some stability. If I could have secured the unique magic that makes this place possible, I might have been able to do something. But no, things are just going to go the way they are, and I guess I can't control anything anymore.
what you wanted to take advantage of whatever here to win a war?
Yeah, so to speak.
Well, I suppose I'm vaguely sorry for that, but judging from
No, you're not.
no, I'm not. Judging from
Yes, shocked and just looks at her and goes, "No, no."
yeah, judging from my friend's reaction to you here, I assume that maybe you're not the best of people anyway. Either way,
Yes, I'm not.
I think Alex is the right thing to do to bring this to authorities to bring in guards of some kind.
Told me not to kill her. And I did that.
Mhm.
What you do with that wretched, disgusting, vile creature is up to you. If it were to me, I would slit her throat now.
You might as well.
Does she say this?
Yeah.
Man, Yoko Ono just being like, "Yeah, I lost. Just let me die the samurai way."
You really don't like losing, do you? Alright, I'll admit I just wanted...
It was a calculated risk. I lost.
I say to Alex, the reason I wanted you to stay our hand is because I wondered if she might be able to provide any information, or might be able to fill in some of the gaps, but it seems perhaps not. I I don't know if I'm a huge fan of killing, but this person doesn't seem to have the world's best interests at heart. So, Hella, what do you think?
I think that we should just ask everyone else what they think first. At the end of the day, we're the most recent ones, and the locals likely have a stronger feeling and probably have questions.
All right. Well, perhaps Alex, if you can stay your blade just for a bit longer, we can encourage the locals to ask any questions or deal out any justice they see fit.
Question for you, Yoko Ono.
Yeah.
You are headmaster of Kirin Templar. What purpose did you have invading Glorimore? What did you gain from burning it to the ground? For slaughtering innocents, children?
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I have no idea where or what Glorimore is.
You had no control to begin with. You cannot keep your own forces under your thumb. What good are you? You already had failed in the past.
You misunderstand. It's not that I don't know where my forces are. It's that whatever Glorimore is of so little significance that it did not cross my desk.
I'm not really helping us here.
Oh dear. Alright, well,
I have no reason to mince words.
I almost feel like Alex should do a wisdom saving throw to see if Avatar of Pain just comes back out.
If you want to, you can go ahead and do it.
I'll leave.
Do it for the story.
Yeah, it feels right. Oh no, I don't have my dice are currently in molds at the moment. Hold on. That's a 14.
Well, what do you think? This is your story you're telling here. So, is a 14? What does that mean here?
For a 14, what that means is that she will partially, like, it'll be like a in-between state of almost completely losing it, but bones starting to misshape and such, and she's just like gripping onto her swords and just doing her best to just stay and not completely slaughter this person before her, but
you know what this seems to me is that this Yoko Ono here is a warmonger, and whilst seemingly interested in stopping a war, by coming in here, it looks more like creating one to me. So perhaps I am even on your side, Alex. I don't think this person has much more right to live.
anything to say, Hella?
Like, this is your thing. I'm just gonna stay quiet now.
I think Alex, if you think this is right, then do it.
Insignificant. The lives, hundreds of just small creatures, small children, my mate, everything that you have taken from me. I will give you no mercy, and you will have no afterlife. Your bones will not be saved. And with this, the Avatar Fane fully manifests, and there's gonna be some goring. I don't know if I need to roll at
No,
this
you don't need to
point.
roll any attacks. Yeah, no, you fully, you can describe this however you want.
Or don't.
I don't think Matthew
Fair.
wants me to.
All right.
Goring
is cool and all, but she got gored. Sounds tight.
All right.
We'll leave that up to the imagination. It's a very dead portal.
Where once there was a turtle, there is now a shell.
Incorrect. Where once there was a turtle, you see the corpse starts to lose color and fade to white, and then all that's left is a pile of snow.
Oh, does anyone know what that means?
You guys can roll Arcana checks if you want to.
Oh, okay. Let's see what
or
I got.
history or whatever.
Would a religion
This is
check
very
count?
confusing.
Maybe you can try for it.
Oh man, D&D Beyond is being absolute garbage right now. I'm just gonna stick with Arcana. It's a 12.
I got a 20.
Yeah, Hello would probably recognize. This seems pretty indicative of the spell Simulacrum. Simulacrum is a spell which allows you to make a perfect copy of you out of snow. However, it is a limited full use because it can't regain spell slots or have hit points or anything like that. But
Oh wow.
it's still pretty useful.
Huh.
Well,
Does anything else happen at this exact moment, or like, is that it?
I think maybe probably at this point the your friends in the grove are starting to come over to you.
Hella just kind of looks around, really confused. I don't think it's over.
well, we've done our part, and perhaps it's at least over just for today.
Malachi comes up from another side, and then quietly, a little bit under his breath, says, "No, I think this is over. It's clear to me that the grove is not the perfect place I was trying to make. This place is no longer safe, and if anything, it is more dangerous than other places that people could be.
So you did make this place?
In a way, yeah. It's this place was a dream of mine, a perfect place where people could be safe forever. I see that this is not what I wanted.
Even if it didn't work out exactly as you wanted, this place has been a haven for many. Everyone here does, for the most part, love being here, love the people that have found their way here too. So I suppose in a way you have succeeded in your goal.
Perhaps what brought the Tyrann here is the magic that makes this place what it is. I can't, or at least I don't know how, to prevent this from happening again. So I feel like I must remove it. And this place, maybe if you can protect each other or other ways that we can protect this place, but the magic that makes it impossible to leave and difficult to enter, I'll have to destroy.
I see. What do you think the people here will do then? Do you think you could still live here in this grove just without the protection?
Perhaps I can do a better job protecting if I am an active defender and not just building walls.
Perhaps you're right. I'm sorry if we misjudged you and your motives.
I was intentionally obscure. This is not a failing on your part.
Thank you for that. Well, I think even if it didn't work out exactly as you wanted, your intentions were seemingly pure, and you have made many people here quite happy. So I think there is definitely something noble there.
At this point, you start to see lines of magic start to like come up like mist from the ground and like start to flow towards Malachi. As and like this, like more and more magic starts to like pool into him. Suddenly the sky starts to change, and you can see clouds up there now, and you see you see like the sun change a little bit as the projected version is no longer there. You start to see through to the outside. Then you see like the edges of the woods start to like pull back a little bit, and you can see like the mountains in the distance from above the trees now.
Is if everyone's here now, like the members of the grove, are they here and able to see this? How are they feeling about this? Maybe like what's their reaction seeing the walls be down?
Everyone's
Okay.
very shocked. Yeah, and like no one's expected this. Finally, at the end of this, Malachi looks like a very much younger man and addresses the group and says, "It is been a while since I've been like this. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Malachi, Idol of the Lost."
Go make a check for that.
Sure.
Okay.
Your religion check if you want to know about like idols and stuff.
Okay. Well, I got a 20 in history. Let me find my religion one. I got 25 in religion.
All right. So you don't know about Malachi specifically.
Mhm.
There are a lot of registered idols who have been secretive or something like that. But idols in general exist as through some means of their own, usually through it can be through like a special ritual, through like the devotion of followers, through just like amassing of magical power. These are mortals who have obtained a level of divinity via their own means and weren't sponsored by
Okay.
one of the primes.
Okay.
I just went and opened the Pantheon thing, David, because I have access to it.
Yeah.
I was like, did he add him on here? No.
I have not added them on here because he's unregistered.
Excellent.
And so yeah, he says, "I'm the idol of the lost. A long time ago, I got stuck in the astral plane, and over time, I just collected the things that I found there. And eventually, I had amassed enough magical objects that I myself started to tap into their power, and kind of by accident, ended up as an idol. And I wanted to use this to make a place where people who were lost could find a safe place to be. That's why the ground here is full of lost things."
Oh, that makes sense. I suppose in different ways, even some of us here are lost too.
I suspect, though, as kind of a side effect, that perhaps you are less lost than when you first arrived.
I think you may be right. So, if you're going to protect the grove yourself now, do you think you'll need any help, or do you think you'll be its sole protector?
You are welcome to stay. I will not. I will handle whatever I can, but I would welcome your help, but I would not ask for it.
I'll think about it. Thank you either way.
In Avatar of Pain form, because she's not yet transformed out of this after just dealing with the fact of the thing I just tried to kill turned into snow, is gonna walk up to Malachi and is going to grip his hand and nod to him. Slowly transform back and go, "You will not be alone in protecting this grove. I will stay here and defend it as well."
I welcome you to stay and help protect. At this point, I think maybe one of you sees out of the corner of your eyes a familiar blue and white uniform run through the tree line as Marcus comes sprinting into the grove.
Hey, my man.
Marcus, you missed all the action.
A lot like
I present him with the two cans with a piece of string. And he says, I think these will work now.
I think unless anyone has anything specific for like a group thing, I kind of think that's a good place for this to end group wise.
Sure.
Yeah, that
If anyone
sounds
else
good.
is saying this. Yeah. So now, if people have things prepared, I'd like to go through what everyone does next. This is going to be like you can decide what what your character does. In the intervening years, you can go as far or as near as you want to go. What I'm the post campaign scenes I'm basing off of. I've had ones where it's like it ends like someone will describe like the end the next day, and then like off in the sunset. And I've seen I've listened to ones where it's like this is what my character does on his deathbed, surrounded
Wow.
by his friends. So if anyone would like to go first, describing what they do, I'll fill in any NPC voices you need for that.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I can go first.
I mean, like, I think, from what I recall, Jalen and Hella agreed to walk off into the sunset together to
Yeah,
do something.
I was gonna say like they kind of we had a conversation to that effect I think earlier.
Do you want to do like a mini like a mini explanation of what you guys do together? Starting with Hella telling Jalen what the plan is.
Man, what do I even say? I guess, like, oh man, I can see it in my head. It's like a movie scene. Hella's like packing up his belongings, getting ready to leave, and Jalen walks in. It's like
Going somewhere?
the general idea that like I had was so given Hella's so I guess Hella would explain this to Jalen, but like his sword is inhabited by the spirit of somebody who was wronged, like basically betrayed, like eons ago by the sun god and the followers of her in the city of what's it, Radiance, right? That's what it's called.
Radiance, yeah.
Yeah, and he had forged the sword and then was killed with it, and then ended up being trapped inside of it. And whenever Hela was outside of like this particular outside of the grove, he was constantly bombarded with like the voice of Bonsiera, the sun goddess, like encouraging him, like mostly like nonsense kind of noises that were just overwhelming, but also generally intrusive thoughts that weren't the best to follow. And so his plan, now that he finally had a chance to like sit down and hear the voice of the sword, he's more in tune with it, and his goal is to go back to Radiance and kind of do what he can to overthrow the religious like theocracy of Bonsier of that city, knowing very well that he's probably going to die in the process. But given that he literally hears voices in his head from two different sources now, he is kind of committed to that cause.
Right. Well,
Me writing this down for my campaign, like.
How does Jalen respond to Hela telling him that his sword is alive and also wants to go take down a theocracy of the evil sun god?
You're probably a few blinks.
Man, Prince of Persia, let's make it happen.
Aladdin and Prince of Persia, let's go. Yeah, I think I say. Well, I understood that your sword was somewhat special, but that isn't what I was not what I was expecting. But look, if you would like a friend for your travels, I will do my best to help you. I think myself, for the longest time I just wanted power and then the freedom that comes with it, and if doing good deeds for a weird altruistic genie is what it takes, then so be it. So as long as my patron is happy with this, then so am I.
You can get a mental thumbs up.
Still thumbs up. Hella kind of laughs and is like, well, we both listen to strange voices in our heads. more similar than it might think.
Perhaps we'll be able to look out for each other then on these travels, and I'm sure overthrowing a city could sound pretty fun.
It's a beautiful city.
Wait, are we destroying it or just overthrowing the leaders? Okay.
Overthrowing. The people.
It's at your discretion.
Generally.
It's all semantics.
Yeah. Kind of shrugs.
All right. Well, I guess I'll be packing my things too then.
No nods, and continues to pack his objects. And he kind of like puts his hand on his sword.
Is
All right. Smash cut. So, describe. Describe like is it like a montage or like a single scene or something like that of you guys now in Radiant, the hottest city on the planet.
Yeah, man. Like, as far as like what we do when we get there, who knows? I was gonna let the sword make the plans, and probably end up with some weird like Celebrimbor from Shadows of Mordor thing where he like betrays me in the end or whatever. I don't know how that would go. I don't know if you guys have played those games, but that was kind of what I imagined when David suggested. Oh, it's a spirit in the sword. I'm like, great. But just walking off into the sunset towards the desert.
That sounds good.
So just for the history books and the canon, how does this resolve? Like what is the outcome for like that satisfying you guys?
I kind of like the idea that Hela would be putting himself at risk and like overdoing it and like taking on fights that are way too advanced, and I'll try and help as much as he can, but I've still got the ability which I can prevent the death of one person. Anyone who trusted me enough to write their name in my book, it means that I can prevent them from dying one time. So I imagine there'll be probably a moment where Jalen uses that to save Hela when otherwise he would not have survived.
Oh man, it's like the final thing. They've like rallied the people against the cause, right? Opened the eyes of the people of Radiance, and then like, who knows, man? It could be like a political thriller style. People don't know for sure how it went down. Maybe it was someone close to them who betrayed them. Maybe it was like a sudden assassin attack. But as someone went to like take down Hela as they were storming the capital, he like dies. But whatever happens when he is prevented from dying, that happens instead.
Swirling of wind like catches the blade that's coming for you and throws it off and allows you a few more moments to live. So I think
In the HBO adaptation, we the writers focus a lot on like doing flashbacks and stuff like that to showcase that had Hela done this alone, he would have died.
Yeah, I like that.
And not succeeded. However, doing it with Jalen means that you guys actually win.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. They emphasize like he maybe would have gotten this far, but he would not have without him. But we can't say for sure. But we know for certain he wouldn't have made it past this specific point. And then I don't know, like the idea of Radiance maybe not becoming like there's still like a religious sense, and maybe like they don't totally villainize Bonsiera, but they at least make it less of a theocracy, and like the government is less cruel and isolationist than it is.
Does Hela run for prime minister or not?
He probably wouldn't want to, but he'd feel like he had to. But he might actually just make Jalen do it because he's more of a people person, and he thinks he'd be the better fit.
Yeah, no, Hela is the face, but Jalen is the actual brains of the operation.
Because Hela is not a big fan of talking that much, so Jalen would be the one to really stir people up and get things going.
your whole job is to be a symbol, and because people are more likely to rally around a guy with a sword possessed by an ancient forge master.
Yeah, the guy who like has sick fire powers and like has a magical
I'll just
sword that
be,
does all kinds of crazy stuff.
and his flying genie boy.
And his flying genie friend. Yeah, and then they, maybe like it's peaceful for a time and they live out their days just trying to improve Radiance and its like how it interacts with the world at large.
What does Alex do after the campaign? I know you said you wanted to stay in the Grove and help defend it, but is there any like specific events or like things that you want to do?
All right. So I did not write like a full descript thing, but I had some basics. Also,
Okay.
you might be able to tell I was listening to Who Tells Your Story from Hamilton while I was coming up with it. But so Alex stays there with Mumbara to try and
Mhm.
take care of the Grove with trying to keep it safe and such. She ends up building up a temple to Belhair there. To kind of, that's the whole thing of the paladins for Belhair, is that only specific kobolds that can see her are able to go out and be paladins and kind of spread the word. So she's doing what she can there.
Does Bachboy get knighted?
Oh yes, Bachboy is an official priest.
How
But,
long
no,
does
I'll
Bok
also
Choy
think-
live? Like magical reanimated Bok Choy. How long does that stay alive?
I mean,
Is
if
it
we're
eternal?
treating it's the spell Awaken, and so there's no actual age like cap on those, so it's kind of like, I think Bachboy is technically immortal.
Bok Boy is the one telling all of our stories at the end of time, like R2-D2 or Samwise Gamgee.
Yes.
Somewhere far in the future, Bachboy is a record keeper in an ancient. It's like some archaeologist uncovers the ancient ruins of a Bon Sierra temple and find Bachboy still being the record keeper.
Bach. That's my take
It
on
would
this
have been
comic.
really useful, except for like the book is just the word Bach over and over again, and like so no one else can read it particularly. But if you
write
speak
into
his language,
comics.
like he used tongues, it's great.
Yeah, so Alex would have made a temple there as well, as functioning also as a orphanage sort of thing. So anytime there's any small children that get wandered or lost or come seeking shelter, she takes them in. Her and Mumbara are essentially spinsters with their millions of cats, except they're
Let her
children.
later into this campaign.
Are they just roommates?
Yeah. We had a discussion about this, David. Kobolds only mate once, and that's it. They are just roommates.
All right.
As much as I think Jalen and Hella are roommates, though, that was a pretty romantic subplot for them to go have.
You think like
Where
King
you
Arthur
going?
and Sir Lancelot. It's just like two
We're
dudes
like Batman
who
and
like
Robin,
rule
except
together
we're
and are
both
homies.
Batman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're like Batman and Terry McGinnis. We're both Batman. Batman and Superman. Batman and
Batman and the Joker. Except
Another
the Joker's
Batman.
good in this one.
Are very close, though. It's the, like, you look at them and you go, is that a thing? And you're like, it's not my business, and you walk away. But yes, due to kobold society, they are just roommates. History will say they were roommates.
History will speculate
I
if they
mean-
were more than roommates, but those who were close friends of theirs knew they were just roommates.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think so. Technically, if Alex keeps growing as a paladin, paladins get the ability to ignore the effects of old age. However, druids get the ability to extend their lifespan by about 10 times. So it's unclear actually which of you gets dies of old age first, because I imagine there's not going to be any threat that would actually take you out before that. So I don't know which of you would hit old age first, because you don't suffer the effects of it, but you still get old.
David, all you're telling me here is that technically in my campaign, both of them could still be alive.
Technically, yeah. Although lizard folk, I think lizard folk cap at like 50 years normally. So if she's 25 now, then she could actually she could live for another 250 years. That would line up.
And I put kobolds for at least this idea of it being a similar lifespan. So yeah, we'll see who reaches it first.
All right. Well, with that, the Grove is done. When I get time with Amanda, we'll do the closing scene with her and Gigi going off into the sunset. And
Starting a farm somewhere.
yeah, something like that. I guess kind of now, if you guys are interested, another thing that I was kind of hoping to do if we had time was a little post-mortem, which basically is just if you have questions about the campaign that I didn't answer during the campaign, you can ask them now.
Ooh, okay.
Kind of thing.
So,
Ideally, in the future, we would have questions from the audience to be able to answer. But for right now, it's kind of just, do you have any questions?
the first one that comes to mind,
Yeah.
potentially isn't one that you'd want to answer anyway, but it was just, I guess, about the there's a lot of world building, like about the Tyrian Empire and different countries and how they relate to each other and that sort of thing. But I kind of almost maybe don't want to know the answer in case that would affect future plans.
Unlikely, because in the next campaign, I don't remember exactly what Michaela decided on, but the nations will be demographically different.
Okay.
By the time the next campaign comes around, and additionally, she's gonna use my lore and my histories, but the if you ask something that I remember, Michaela saying something about, I will, avoid that. But as far as I remember correctly, I don't think Tira ever came up in my and Michaela's talks about her
Okay.
campaign. Is that right?
Yeah, the only thing that ever really came up for it was the discussion about your Templar campaign, and
Right.
essentially me taking control of how that Templar campaign technically ended.
Yeah, I think I kind of jumped in here a little bit with a little part of it, but yeah, honestly, that's the extent of it. So ask away.
Yeah, I guess so. The Tyrian Empire controls are they sort of the big entity in this world.
So if you're on the roll
Yeah, I
20,
can let that up.
I don't know if you can get to that right now. So in the far east is the Tyrian Empire. That is that giant continent and a couple of islands down at the bottom. That is just one of the countries in this world. Specifically, these lands are the native homelands of Asimars, Tortles, Aarakocras, and I feel like that was it. Yeah. But their styling and themes I based heavily off of Chinese and and Japanese aesthetics and cultural values. And specifically with Yoko Ono, She is the master of the Tyran branch of Templar. Templar being a globe-spanning paramilitary organization, and basically each country has their own master, and then there is the Grand Master above them. Yoko Ono is being the master of Tira. Templar has effectively replaced the military of Tira, so she basically controls the Tira military as well. And at the same time, she also, I had imagined her effectively using the Emperor of Tira as a kind of a puppet.
Okay.
So Yoko Ono is I had intended for her to be like a conniving, scheming, you know, big threat. I'm gonna be honest. At the end here, I kind of didn't. I wasn't sure how to treat it. I mean, like, I knew from the beginning that she wouldn't have she wouldn't have come herself because she's not stupid. And so but I felt like a simulacrum was, a
No, I like that. That was
reasonable
awesome.
expense to send. So that's why I was playing it like she didn't particularly care what you guys did, because either way she was going to dismiss
the
the
way she was playing
simulacrum.
it, I kept wondering. Wait a minute, does she have some sort of safeguard in the instance that she dies? There's an explosion or something, you know? Like I was trying to like suss that out, but no, that makes total sense for her character. It's like no, she just doesn't really matter because she just turned into snow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
that's my intent. Yeah.
As a big fan of turtles and tortoises in general, it does make me very upset to have one as a villain, but that's pretty cool too.
Yeah. And additionally, like with her particular powers, because like another thing that was from the Templar campaign is the idea of the Templar badges, which I use as a way to give everyone like superpowers basically, in certain ways. And so I had each of the masters have their own superpower. And so Yoko Ono's superpower is Conjure Swarm, which allows her to do all of the conjure animal or conjuring spells, but she summons swarms of whatever animal she would normally summon. Because she's a super duper shepherd's druid.
Nice.
And like in the Templar campaign, one of the masters that actually I don't remember what Seedemir's power was. Now that I remember, I don't know. Anyway, but like I had abilities for all of them.
Yeah.
I can look it up. I have the Templar campaign here.
I think he was a Twilight Druid, if that helps.
Nah, he was a Celestial Warlock.
Or Cleric. Celestial Warlock. Alright, well.
Does this say what it is? Ah, he had greater healing, so I think all of his healing was souped up. Was his thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Was there another part of that question? I
Just,
kind of lost track of what it was.
Some general like I get like because we were in Ilum, right? Or
we are the town was Ilium.
Right, yeah,
we were
that makes
in
sense.
the country of Markov. Yeah, you guys went over to the Brightlands and the capital Radiance. I don't know if it counts as the capital since it's the only city there, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah. You know what? I wouldn't mind, David, if you not to put you too much on the spot, but it would be maybe nice to hear as well. Just a very quick scene, perhaps of just the other members of the Grove. Maybe not every single person, but just those that decide to stay as a community.
Here's the thing. I think I don't know if it's not certain, but I think everyone would probably end up staying. Because
And they all converted to Bel-Air.
no, I don't think that's the case.
No.
Where is it? NPCs. Yeah, because here's the thing: Calatarn wouldn't have stayed, because Calatarn would have tried to go out and effectively reestablish the Yanti race. Um, uh, Rotox would have followed her, and I don't know if Weiss would have or not. Weiss Weiss probably would just to help out because she owes Calatarn a lot, but it is what it is. Rhino, Rhino would probably stay. I mean, like he hasn't really had any place else he wants to go, and so he and Nib are probably going to stay here. Um, see, Malachi, of course, going to stay. The Nickets, I think most of them will stay. Maybe when they get older, specifically like Rosalie, and Kira, not Rosalie and and Ida might have gone out on their own. I mean, Dimitri as well, but I think Thorn would have stayed with his parents, and then Audric finally gets that vote in the water.
Nice.
Let's see,
And we got him
Valkyrie.
both.
We don't know what happened to Valkyrie.
Ooh, that's
See,
probably information I can come up with, isn't it?
It is. I kind of imagined, something. The disc was a trap kind of thing, but
yeah.
you can decide more than that if you want to. Maribel gonna stay. She's happy to stay. Like she'll honestly, she might be the one who's most interested in Belhair. Just given her experience with death and with you know her.
Bones.
Yeah. Martha and Rick, they're I don't know where they go. I don't know if they'd stay or not because I think technically they're still wanted by the Templar. Um, However, the Templar are currently falling apart, so maybe they'll leave after a while. Mambara, of course, stays, uh, and Gigi goes wherever Elvis does. Um,
All right, thank you.
that's basically the gist of it, I think.
Okay. So were all the magic items the reason that they were just not working? I'm assuming was just the energy he expelled to create the grove.
The ones in there specifically were the ones that were drained in order to raise him to become an idol.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, when he became an idol, he absorbed all of the energy of all the items that he collected, and then he didn't. I don't think he intentionally kept them. He kind of just like they were sentimental, so you just like kind of like put them somewhere.
Alright.
Yeah.
What was up with the spider that like awoke in that skeleton?
The spider was something that got lost. So some wizard somewhere was using it and then misplaced it, and so it ended up in the grove. The Domino dug him up one day, and then it started stitching him together.
Oh, so that really was just like crazy happenstance that happened.
It was total coincidence that it happened when you guys came in.
Huh. All right.
Hello, out here with 4D chess, trying to figure out how spiders related to Malachi related to the grove. Like,
Seriously, it was all a conspiracy, bro. I was like corkboard with the red string.
Question for you, David. That was because you were talking to me about the grove before you decided to fully make it a campaign and such.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't Malachi originally going to end up being the big bad?
My intention, like, okay, I moved to having the big bad be Yoko Ono kind of mid-campaign, actually. Basically, I decided that I wanted to do the plot line of getting Valkyrie out and the consequences thereof.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had intended for Malachi to be an option for a big bad. Kind of the idea is if you guys were antagonistic enough and or found a way to break the magic that made the Grove, the magic would flow back into him, and then your boss fight would have been Malachi, Idol of the Lost, because he would have been upset that you broke his magic, and then he got a little magic back, so that would have been a boss fight. That was an option, but I kind of pivoted towards it because like you guys were suspicious of Malachi, but you guys weren't actually antagonistic with him, not until like very end, basically.
Mhm.
So it just didn't feel like it didn't feel like that was going to be where we're going to go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I remember talking with you on the way to hockey, at least one of the times where I was like, hold up now. I remember us talking about the Grove breaking and magic flowing back into Malachi.
Yeah, and that's definitely an option. And like again, I think if I were to redo this campaign, there's a lot of things that I would change. Specifically, I'd make it longer, because I would want everyone to have more time with the NPCs. And two, I think I'd do a bit better job of foreshadowing, Malachi's connection to the Grove, and I would have tried to do a bit more. I don't know, just make it a bit wider. I think because as it stands right now, I'm happy with how it went, but I definitely see how I could have
Yeah,
improved
I
it
think,
if I do it again.
to be honest, I think you did a pretty good job of making Malachi appear like very mysterious. So I know maybe that wasn't your full intention, but he definitely came across as like there's something going on with this guy. Like, especially
Yeah.
when we entered his house, that was where like the biggest suspicion started. You know, it's like, what is up with what's his deal? So,
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure how you guys were going to react to that, which is why him being the boss was an option. But if you guys didn't, you guys never confronted him about it, so that kind of went off the table a bit.
No,
But there's definitely a version of this campaign where you guys got super up in Malachi's face and then figured out, probably with Kalatarn's help, how to break the spell here, and Malachi would have been the final boss.
that's cool. So it's fun to think about.
Like that's kind of what I go for when I'm planning out like the larger story of the campaign is I don't want to write out like every single possibility and stuff like that, but I kind of want to, like, when I'm writing, try to have ideas for general shifts in where things could go, and like we'll get to a branch and like I'll write options for those branches. I won't write out what happens directly after them, but I'll figure out the options for that branch, and then sometimes somebody will come up with an extra secret fourth option.
I think
But
that's honestly a very good way of doing it. In the last campaign I ran, on the first like 2 or 3 sessions, I kept dropping hints about this cult called the Second Dawn, and they were like trying to recruit members in different towns and stuff like that. And it wasn't outwardly a cult, but my players literally just ignored every single possible hint. They just like no interest. No, so I was like, it just kind of faded out into the background. I was like, yeah, I guess that's not important anymore. Or maybe in the greater lore it comes back and actually they shouldn't have ignored it, and now
yeah,
there's a massive cult problem across the country. But at least in the first instance, it was like, well, they're not interested, so I guess that's not what the campaign's going to be about.
mhm.
That's right. It wasn't going to be. It was going to be a
Sounds
secondary
super
thing anyway. I still
disappointing.
had stuff for the main stuff, but yeah, it was just quite funny, really.
I actually recently been doing a lot of reading, watching a lot of videos about linear storytelling and how you can do linear storytelling without it being railroading. Specifically, like you could have a story and have that story be kind of the only option, but you can also let them have choice in the story without it breaking the overall narrative. And so like that's kind of what I'm shooting for, is a kind of linear story that is not railroaded
Sure.
along a set track.
I know you've done something wrong.
I guess if no one else had any questions, at least imminently, just want to say thank you, David, for running this, because I know campaign prep is exhausting, and running a campaign can be pretty crazy. So I appreciate you setting aside the time to make this work.
It was fun. I had a really good time.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's my overall goal.
Yes.
And now I'm handing the reins over to Michaela.
Yeah.
Music for this episode was Voice of Nature and Sad by Les FM and was distributed by Pixabay.com. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Grove. If you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel to find more episodes and other Grove-related content.